Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network. Dick Hanna, believe in nice.
Sappington says, I'm ready. A 42-yard try. Snap, placement, kick on the way up. Plenty long enough. And this time he splits it. We are tied at 3.
A comprehensive recap of today's game with the players and coaches you want to hear from.
Touchdown, Oregon!
And our game day crew of Andy Johnson, Dusty Hara, and former Duck star Anthony Newman joining the show. Oregon Ducks football on the Fan is brought to you by Coors Light, Dick Hanna Dealerships, Philbrook Law, Zoom Care, Bellagio's Pizza, Langdon Farms Golf Club, Wilsonville Toyota, Mountaintop Metal Roofing, Victor Rico's Mexican Food, Legends Casino Hotel, Mott's PDX, and Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. The Dick Hanna Dealerships Post-Game Scoreboard Show on 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app starts now. Here's your hosts, Joe Fisher and Jordan Schultz.
The Ducks win the whiteout in Happy Valley, in State College, in Penn State.
Let's go!
Welcome into the Dick Hanna Dealerships Post-Game Scoreboard Show.
Woo!
I am Joe Fisher, the man that is exclaiming, yelling, and throwing all journalistic integrity out the window is Jordan Schultz. But you know what, Jordan? For this sake, for this game, the roller coaster that was up and down, just give me 2 seconds. Let me slide back here. Whoa!
Thank you. All right. So we're both feeling that way, man. Joe,
All right. That was it.
Up.
That was it. We're done.
No, I don't think we are.
We're done with that.
I think it's going to be a busy, very loud evening for both of us, man. I thought Oregon had lost that game, and lo and behold, freaking wow.
Yeah, that is, just an absolute roller coaster of a game. I mean, with the offenses lacking in the first half to with how that finished at the end, both offenses coming alive, this going to overtime, the environment. I mean, just the stage as big as it was, this game had been hyped up all summer long, all season long, and we finally got here, and not just as Duck fans, but as football fans, that game effing delivered. That was one of the best games I've ever watched, one of the best Duck games I've ever watched, obviously because they came out on top this time in a game that, probably in years past, as Duck fans were like, we know where this one's going. We know how this is headed. And at one point, the momentum was completely in Penn State's corner. The tide of that game completely switched. And then you get to overtime, you get a touchdown, you start feeling a little bit more calmed down, and then just huge plays back-to-back, one on offense by Dante Moore on that touchdown where he avoided denied Dennis Sutton, and then the huge interception by Dylan Thiemann, just clutching up in the end there for the Ducks to get the win. 30-24. Just, again, unreal victory for the Oregon Ducks, going there and getting that victory in just one of the toughest environments in not just college football, just all of sports.
Yeah, I think every storyline that we were talking about coming into today, Joe, basically came true, except for the whiteout. Can I just highlight that really quickly before we dive deeper into this? I think the crowd actually didn't have that much of an effect.
Well, to be fair, the Ducks' defense was a big part of that. They took that offense out of the game for 80 to 90% of it. They did not have a whole lot to cheer about.
No, and on top of that, even as unluckily for Oregon, Penn State won the toss and decided to defer, despite not scoring a lot of points in the first half, I wasn't really mad at Oregon's drives to start the game. I thought Dante Moore looked pretty poised, looked like he was owning the moment as soon as he stepped on the field, but man, you're right. Yeah, Oregon really shut him out quickly, and it wasn't just the defense. I think those drives, they just look so smooth on offense. It's like they're trying to cheer. They're trying to get Oregon to just look like they're, what is it when the quarterback covers his ears or when they look like they're messed up. Like, that didn't really happen. Outside of a couple of times, there was a false start on the second drive on a 4th and 1. So outside of 4 mental miscues, man, I think those offensive plays for Oregon to start the game, I was happy with them. That there was a nice big lick that safety put on Dante Moore on a drive as well to stop it short. Like Dan Lanning was going for it on 4th down with that killer mentality. I've wanted a coach for Oregon. with that mentality for, my entire life. Now we have it. Dan Lanning here in year 4 has the balls to make that kind of call. And, the whole in the second half by World near the end, or no, it was in the near the end of the first half, all those little tiny things killed drives along the way. But outside of that, the offense was moving, Joe. So you look at the stats, and we can dive into them. It was definitely an odd game to start for Oregon, but I actually thought they looked pretty comfortable, frankly.
Yeah, looking at the offensive statistics for this team, Dante Moore, and we'll definitely get to him along with a lot of other players in this game, but he goes 29 of 39, 248 yards and 3 touchdowns, none bigger than that last touchdown he had to Gary Bryant Jr., and where, again, he just, started to boot right, denied Dennis Sutton, was right there ready to bear down on him, and he just gives him a little Chris Berman, what? Moves right past him. He goes slipping by and is able to hit Gary Bryant Jr., who then runs it in for the touchdown. The game-winning touchdown that put him up 30-24. They didn't get the 2-point conversion, but then Dylan Thiemann coming up clutch with the interception to ice the game. Just absolute ice in his veins right there, making that play.
Quite the opposite end, my friend. Like I thought it was going to be a 13-10 game. Like in the first half.
The way that it was playing out, man. Yeah, if you
bad.
live bet the under, I'm sorry for you.
No kid, I didn't even think of that. It was like 53.5-ish or something like that.
Well, I don't know what
to start the game.
I don't know what before the game it was, but yeah, if you're watching that, you're like, dude, let's live bet the under. Let's jump on that. No way that this game goes above 40 points. De'Aaron Hill Jr., he leads all running backs with 10 carries for 82 yards. Second leading rusher was Dante Moore, 10 carries, 35 yards. Noah Whittington adding 7 carries for 25 yards. And no fumbles for Noah Whittington. No fumbles.
Thank the Lord for that review.
Thank you, our technology overlords
was that
in 2025 and the Big 2-5.
That was late in the first half, right? Where basically it would have been a fumble to give Penn State the ball back on Oregon's 9 or 10 yard line, but thankfully the referees, and they didn't show this replay.
That was third quarter. That was their first touchdown in the third quarter, so right after halftime there.
And yeah, they didn't show they showed the second replay, but not the first one on the big board that they were actually reviewing. And I was wondering, I saw it, I'm like, didn't he touch his knee? Nobody's calling this? Okay, thank God. It was... I understand Penn State was upset. Their fans in the whiteout were pissed, but guess what? If they showed the right review, then they would have understood. So thank God that actually was something that the referees got right.
Receiving-wise, DeCorian Moore, the freshman, in that environment, coming up with 7 grabs for 89 yards. Gary Bryant following that up with 6 grabs, 55 yards and a touchdown. Kenyon Sadiq, 6 for 49, and he was healthy at the end of the game. I know he took that spill where the Penn State player landed on top of him at the end of regulation, but he was in there in that final possession there. Jalen Lamar, 3 catches for 20. Malik Benson, 2 for 11. De'Aaron Hill Jr., 2 for 12 and a touchdown. Jordan Davison, he adds to his rushing touchdown total. He gets number 7. He had 4 carries for 17 and a touchdown. On the Penn State side, Drew Aller, 14 for 25, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Very important.
And those numbers were ass until the fourth quarter for Drew Aller.
Man, we're gonna get into a lot of different players on both sides, a lot of different moments. But yeah, Drew Aller, that will definitely be something we talk about later in this post game. The rushing attack, Katron Allen, 12 carries, 54 yards. Drew Aller got a lot of those rushing yards in that final drive, 9 attempts for 42. And then Singleton, only 11 carries for 21 yards. Kind of a underperformance by him.
Yeah, but almost the same amount of carries as Katron Allen. You could tell they were really trying to run it up the gut, and Oregon pretty much stuffed them the entire game in that regard.
Total yards, Oregon 424, Penn State 276. And that balance showed itself again, 248 passing yards, 176 rushing yards for the Oregon Ducks. Whew. All right, man, let's take a breath. Let's make sure our beverages are refilled. I got a text on the text line earlier from RJ. He said, if you don't get this post-game show started soon, I'm going to be 2 texts to drunk, which at that point, I think he already was. But I said, get drunk anyways, baby. The Ducks won. You can chime in on the text line as well, 503-864-6326. Jump in on the YouTube chat. I see we got some comments on there already. Let's take a quick break because I'm sure that Dusty Harris is scrambling to get himself to the airport, and I would love to hear his perspective of that game as he was down on the sideline during the Ducks' victory over Penn State 30-24. We will work on that. We'll reach out to the man. I understand that once you get 100,000 people all in the same place, cell service might be spotty. So we'll see if we can get him or if we go to Anthony Newman first in this next segment. But Ducks win 30-24. Let's kick it over to Jordan for a weather update.
Appreciate you, Joe. It's 68 right now in downtown Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a chilly low of 54 tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 75.
Do you owe $10,000 or more?
Brand manager. And Dusty, just walk us through what that was like experiencing the whole game, the pomp and circumstance leading up to it, the highs and lows of the moments, and just that final play where Newman seals the victory for the Ducks.
Man, it was an incredible environment, first of all. 111,000 people. None of them sat down the entire game until we saw a lot of butts hit seats right when Dylan Newman came down with that interception. But it was this was like the first taste of Big Ten football for Oregon, right? How often have we seen the Ducks get into shootouts and play high-scoring games? This was a grind-them-out game, 3-3 at the half. You know, a little bit of fireworks in that fourth quarter, but this was that good old-fashioned Big Ten slobber knocker where the game slows down. It's one in the trenches. The reaction when Thieneman picked that ball off, I mean, it was just elation. You saw everybody just pop off the sideline, and they all just ran down and mobbed Thieneman, and it was, you saw how much it meant to Dante Moore. I don't know if NBC caught his reaction, but just he went down to his knees, and he was just, you know, emotional because of the way that game played out, and he played a heck of a football game, Dante Moore did. Not the eye-popping stats, but he took what they gave him. He was pressured consistently throughout the night, and he just made the right play time and time again. It was an impressive performance top to bottom for Oregon.
Yeah, quarterback play really helped quiet the crowd pretty early, I would say. And actually, Dusty, that's kind of what I wanted to get into about. Was it like the first or the second drive where the crowd kind of already started to chill a little bit, I guess is the best word. It just didn't seem like, out of all the storylines that actually came true that people were talking about leading up to today's game, I would say that, that whiteout crowd just wasn't in it. And I would say part of that was Dante Moore, but obviously Oregon's defense as well, keeping Penn State quiet.
Yeah, part of it really was. It was keeping drives together, sustaining drives. And that was kind of that's key when you go to a hostile environment is you want to move the sticks. And if you don't see third down and long, the crowd's going to be pretty quiet. I think Oregon going for it on fourth down and getting it early, I think that kind of helped with easing the crowd a little bit, and they weren't as raucous. They were loud. They were very loud, but I really do think that they were more frustrated with their offense and their inability to operate in that first half, because Oregon gave them a short field where they got that field goal. And other than that, they weren't able to move the ball really much at all against Oregon. And that, to me, is really what took the crowd out. Not as much Oregon's offense, but it was Oregon's defense and the inability and unwillingness to push the ball down the field until the fourth quarter for Penn State's offense.
Describe what that's like interviewing. I mean, you have interviewed Coach Lanning many, many times at halftime and at the end of the game. Just describe what that's like when you are talking to him in a moment like that is so like emotionally charged. It's not just like this time. It does not seem like just check the box, do the interview. He is coming off of a huge game, huge play. I mean, we could see him in the NBC post game when he was talking to their reporter. I mean, the guy was on the verge of tears. What was that like, just having that moment with him and experiencing that with him at the end of the game?
Yeah, he was in a full sweat. I mean, that celebration was amped up, whether it was in the Oregon locker room, on the field. He was in a full sweat, but yeah, I mean, we see it with Coach Lanning where he's measured during the game, but he wears his emotions on his sleeve. We see that in Ducks versus Them, the docuseries that they do, how amped up he gets before games, at halftime, during practices. Like, he is an emotional guy, and I think, his team feeds off that, because you saw it over the course of this game too, where he was pretty steady. He was pretty steady throughout the course of the game when things were going right for him and when they weren't going right for him, and his team kind of mimicked that. And after the game, yeah, there are a lot. We've had a lot of these interviews that we've done with him, but this one goes up there with like Ohio State, where it means more. It means more to him. It means more to the team, and I think he knows what it means for the program as well to get big wins like this, top 10 on the road, and now you head into a bye week before a really good Indiana team comes to town. It was emotionally charged for sure. Yeah,
you said it, man. The bye week's going to be important, not just to get healthy, but just to ramp down a little bit. You don't want to go into another game after such an emotionally charged game like this, and that will be extremely beneficial for this Ducks team. Dusty, let you go. No, you got a flight to catch. Try and catch some sleep if you can. This is one of those nights where it's going to be difficult to do just that. But travel safely, and we'll see you Monday morning.
Yeah, I'll be listening to your guys' post game on our 2-hour bus ride to the airport, man.
That's a good boss right there.
It's going to be hard to sleep, though. I'll tell you that much. It will be hard to sleep on this flight, but I'm going to have to. My son's got a doubleheader tomorrow, baseball doubleheader tomorrow.
Look at that.
So, 9 a.m. I'll land probably at the airport and just drive straight to his game, if we're being honest. It's going to be a long trip home, but a lot easier with a win.
Call you Good Dad Dusty.
Yeah, Daddy Dusty, right back on it. Let's go.
Okay, Coach Dusty.
Oh,
right?
Oh yeah. You actually have responsibilities. That's even worse.
Well, I think I might have an idea of what your motivational speech. You're like, listen, guys, I just saw a game last night that I think you got to channel that. All right.
You're never out of it. If you have a big lead, it's never safe. Yeah. You always gotta play hard, guys. I don't think it'll resonate with eight-year-olds, though.
What?
We'll see. I'll give it a whirl.
Really? Yeah. Well, try your best, get some sleep, and we will catch you on Monday, dude.
All right, fellas. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Dusty.
That was Dusty. You know him well. Fan, brand manager here of 105.1 The Fan Sports Network, and of course, the Oregon Ducks sideline reporter during the broadcast. Take a quick break. Let's get to a man that has played in some big games himself. Anthony Newman, Oregon Duck Hall of Famer, former NFL pro. Let's get him on the program and get his thoughts about this amazing Ducks win, 30-24 over Penn State. We do that next, but first, kick it over to Jordan for a weather update.
Appreciate that, Joe. 68 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 54 tomorrow. Partly cloudy, a high of 75.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and
Grace and Sadiq out to the right, both as blockers. Under center. Now Grace comes back at a fullback. Give it to Davidson. He'll go up the middle easily and score! Touchdown, Oregon! Touchdown, Jordan Davidson. You sell out for the short yardage, you give up the big runs. And that's exactly what Penn State did.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the Dick Hanna Dealers Post-Game Scoreboard Show right here on the Fan Sports Network. I'm Joe Fisher III. Jordan Schultz rocking with me as always, and rocking with us right now is Anthony freaking Newman. Oh my God, Anthony. I don't know where to start, but I think you being a defensive guy, did you expect that performance out of the defense today? I mean, they played way better than I even imagined. I know they had a little let up there in the fourth quarter, but I mean, just the run game, keeping Drew Aller in check. Did you see that coming?
Well, first of all, I'm gonna try to be real calm, and I'm gonna talk like a coach or a player.
Yeah, we'll set a
was the
timer for
okay.
your answers. Only 1 minute at a
Yeah,
time.
No, that was a good game. There's a lot more games to go.
Yes.
Okay, so a great job. But now I'm gonna talk to you as a fan.
Yes, please
Let's
do.
go. Let's go.
Yeah!
Are you freaking kidding me? Are you kidding me? That was outstanding. That was one of the best football games I've seen in a long time. I got chills running down my back. I am so happy. And defense wins championships. Period. Don't say no more. Okay, I'm off the air now. I'm going to drop the mic. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, that was great. That was outstanding. It was, you play 4 quarters of football, then you go to overtime. You're still playing. Now, Penn State, hey, they're moving the ball. They're scoring. They had 3 points going into the fourth quarter. The defense played outstanding for Oregon. But then all of a sudden now Penn State gets on a roll. It happens. They get coached too. They got players also. But at the same time, you have to find a way to win. And good football teams find ways to win the game at the end. They start fast and they finish stronger. And that's what Oregon did.
All right, Anthony, something that they had to overcome during the game, one of the reasons that they won is what I wanted to ask you about. 6 of 18 on third down. And that wasn't necessarily because Oregon was playing bad. I thought, and I think I know exactly what you're going to talk about, relentless pursuit, the RP. I think that was because the relentless pursuit to the ball by Penn State's defense, frankly, Oregon's defense as well. But I'm keying in on all the times that they got stopped on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 6, right at the half yard before getting to that first down line. They had so many 4th and shorts. I think Coach Lanning said that they need to add some new plays to that 4th and 1 playbook because they used the Rolodex completely tonight. And frankly, that was one part of Penn State's defense that really impressed me. How were they able to continually stop Oregon right before the line of scrimmage tonight? It really almost cost them the game.
Well, you're right. It's RP, relentless pursuit to the football. So, we always say one guy can't beat you. That's why you have to get everyone to the ball. If the quarterback's going to run the football, if you throw the ball to a receiver out wide, you got to get there. You got to stop him. And if you get, a ton of guys to the football, he may make a few guys miss or he may bounce off a few guys. But if everybody's there, he's going to eventually stop. And that's what, both defenses did that, but Penn State did it well. I mean, Dante Moore was running the ball, and that was great. You got a running quarterback. But at the same time, Penn State, they rallied to the football, and they made those crucial stops that were outstanding. And that's why it was a good defensive game. I had a hell of a time watching that game. It was fun for me because defense was balling out. That's what happens when you play good defense. But at the same time, the guys who make plays are the superstars, and Dante Moore is a superstar. On that touchdown in overtime, I mean, he avoided one of the best pass rushers in the country, okay, with just like technique sound, and throws the ball. Are you kidding me? And then we score. That's that. And then on defense, superstar makes plays. He read the play. He knew the play was coming. I could tell. He understood what play was coming, and he was in the right spot, was able to get some vertical, get up there and make that interception. Wow, outstanding.
Anthony, in your time as a Duck or just experiencing this team, I'm really trying to think back, man, as far as away victories. Have you ever experienced anything like this in your playing time or just you can remember? I mean, I feel like this is really one of, if not the biggest road game victories that this program has ever had.
Well, Oregon played Ohio State, what 3 years ago and beat them there?
Yeah.
At Ohio State. I think that was, I can't remember. Time flies. And that was a big game, but it wasn't the same situation, and this was different. I mean, and everybody was against Oregon. Everybody picked Penn State to win this football game. Oh, you're not going to go into Penn State and it's a whiteout in front of 102,000, fans, and it's not going to happen. I know you're a good football team, Oregon, but you can't win this type of game. And what? Say that again? Tell me that again. What did you say? It's just this. Listen here. This is important. I was talking to some coaches, and I'm not going to say their names, before the season started, and they told me, Anthony, this team is different. That we got some dudes on this football team. I'm like, really? He goes, no, we really do. And hey, they didn't tell everybody how good we are. They didn't go tell the press, "Oh, we're really good." No, they said, we'll just play. We'll show you. We'll just play. And they showed you today. There's some dudes on this football team, and they're all young. Most of them are young.
Yeah,
they're on this football team that are good.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a team that this kind of game wouldn't go this way last season for Oregon, but whether it's all the transfers or whether it's Dan Lanning just, instilling the way that he does business into the program and just getting his team to the level that he's wanted since the start, and now in year 4, it's kind of all coming to fruition. At least that's what it looks like this year. I did want to ask you really quickly, Anthony, about Drew Aller. All of the hype, man, talking about his possible Heisman Trophy candidacy going on this season. Didn't really look great in the first 3 games against nothing opponents. Didn't really look great in today's game until like the 4th quarter. His stats got bumped up a little bit because of that big 30-yard touchdown pass, but I just thought Drew Aller looked overmatched. Tell me, Anthony, on the defensive end, you've seen great quarterbacks, you've seen crappy quarterbacks. Do you see Drew Aller as maybe not scared, but as confused as I do at times? Because he just didn't look like he was making the right decision a lot today.
Well, I think it's maybe his technique, throwing the football, because there were guys open, but he's throwing behind like back shoulder. The tight ends run across the field, and the tight end has to stop to reach back to get the football, and it's a bad pass. He had several bad passes, and he's not consistent. So that's when I look at a football player, and if he's trying to go to the next level, the number one thing these guys say in the league is you need to be consistent. Every game, every play. If you got 60 plays, let's be consistent. I can't have you up and down. Drew Aller is a guy that's up and down. I mean, all of a sudden he looks good, one series, and the next series he's overthrowing the guys, underthrowing the guys, making bad passes. And it's just like, okay, this is not. We can't have this at the next level. He's a good college football player, no doubt. Good quarterback. He can play, smart, has a lot of experience. Going to the next level, it's going to be a tough road. And I don't want to say that. Hey, he may play different at the next level, but he's not consistent. That's what I'll tell you this right now. He is not consistent. And if I'm a Penn State fan, I know that. I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the plays that he made against the teams earlier that they played. He crushed these teams, but he didn't play great. And he's the same. He was the same way last year. So he's got to be more consistent for them to be running for the playoffs and thinking they can win these playoffs. The quarterback has to control the football, and he's the one that touches the ball every offensive snap, and he's not consistent with that football.
Well, Anthony, I'm looking at this yellow sticky note in front of me with the predictions from Dirt, the predictions from you, and next to your name, it just says Oregon wins. Well, check that box. They went in and they won that game. That was awesome. I'm sure you had just as good a time as we all did.
I had a great time. Like I said, that was fun.
I mean, just as football fans, right? Like football. That was just a fun football game.
It was. That's how you play football. That's how you watch football.
Pads were popping, yeah.
But I understand. Let's move on to the next game. They have a bye. They need to rest up because they're beat up. They have a bye, and then they have to deal with Indiana. But it's on to the next game because there's a lot of football left. So if they would have lost that game, I would have been saying the same thing. Oh, there's a lot of football left. You got to move on. I'm saying that right now. They won the football game. It's a great win, but you have to move on.
Yeah, and I said this to Dusty. I mean, bye week coming at a really good time because you got a good Indiana team coming down, but you definitely want to, ramp down the emotions after a game like this so you can kind of get refocused and back in on the task at hand, and that's winning the next one and the next one and having a great season. So appreciate you as always, man. It was nice seeing you today at the the bowling arcade there over on Grand Central Bowl. Yes,
that's
most
fun.
definitely.
That's fun.
I heard you were a big fan of those sliders, huh?
No, I ate a pretzel. That's what I had.
Dirt was the one who had the sliders. He was the one that was eating the scraps, licking the plate.
Yeah. I had the oven baked pretzel that was really soft. Really, it was really good. Yeah, he was eating. Matter of fact, they were about to take it away, and he was grabbing, telling, "No, that's mine. I want to eat that."
I know, he almost bit someone's fingers. So yeah,
scraps.
Do not.
Oh, they're scraps.
Do not take Dirt's chicken sliders away from him.
I know, exactly.
All right, dude.
It was fun, though. It was great times.
Yes, definitely was. Definitely was. Well, get some rest, and we will catch up with you in a couple weeks because, as the Ducks have a bye week, we'll have one too. So get some rest, and, we'll catch you next time, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right. That was Anthony Newman, Oregon Ducks legend, former NFL pro, sharing his thoughts on the game. We've heard from Dusty. We've heard from Anthony. The YouTube chat is popping. The text line is popping. You can join in 503-864-6326. We've heard from those guys. Let's hear from you. Let's read some thoughts on the text line and YouTube chat.
I've got a theory about the bye week that Oregon is coming into. I think that this might be an advantage that teams are going to start looking towards going forward. Just the feeling of a team versus another team that is going into a bye week versus coming off of a bye week. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, another case in that theory of playing fresh versus playing with a bye week. So we do that next here. Listen to your thoughts. Get your thoughts on this Ducks victory, 30-24. But first, Jordan Schultz, weather update.
Thanks, Joe. Starting to get chillier, 67 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 54 tomorrow. Partly cloudy, a high of 75. 67 degrees when Oregon hosts Indiana in 2 weeks.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network. Dick Hanna, believe in nice.
Whittington lines up with a pistol behind Dante. Snap, trying to give it to Whittington, or rather De'Aaron Hill takes off across the 30, still on his feet, 40, cuts back on the 45, after the 49-yard line. What an exciting, speedy runner, Mr. Hill.
Time for the second half. Oregon Ducks football on the Fan is brought to you by Coors Light, Dick Hanna Dealerships, Philbrook Law, Zoom Care, Bellagio's Pizza, Langdon Farms Golf Club, Wilsonville Toyota, Mountaintop Metal Roofing, Victor Rico's Mexican Food, Legends Casino Hotel, Mods PDX, and Laurelhurst Market Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. The Dick Hanna Dealerships post-game scoreboard show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app. Drives on. Here's your hosts, Joe Fisher and Jordan Schultz.
Welcome back into the Dick Hanna Dealerships post-game scoreboard show.
Can I do it again?
Woo! Oh, my God.
Dude, I am stoked. I thought that Oregon...
My ears are bleeding.
7-8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I thought Oregon was done. I really did, man. It's like, Penn State's starting to come back. They look really good.
7-8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. Penn State, they scored that quick touchdown to make it 17-10.
You just felt the momentum shift at that point. It's just kind of like that feeling.
Yeah, it's just a wild up and down emotional game. Want to read some text here on our text line, 503-864-6326. That's 503-864-6FAN. The Ducks in a slugfest totally proved they could win in the trenches on both sides of the ball. Very impressive win. P1 Downey there. Yeah, I felt like I was kind of being like cliche about this game coming into it, that this game will be won in the trenches, but if you watched how the Ducks defensive line performed and how the offensive line performed tonight, it came to fruition. Those units won this game. The defensive line, that was one of our bigger worries coming into this, was how are they going to handle this run game against Penn State? And you saw even in their base defense where they're running that 4-2-5 and having a few more DBs out there, the defensive line was getting pushed. They were staying disciplined on that one. Oh my God, that one screenplay that Amari Washington just sat on and almost got the interception himself, but caused, a big loss there. You saw guys like Flowers and then Thiemann just flying and filling the gaps on plays. But again, just to go to that front seven of the defense and then on the offensive line, they won this game for the Oregon Ducks, full stop. That's what we wanted to see at that defensive line, honestly. Again, just from what we saw with Northwestern, having some good running efforts when they played them. Oregon State, it was one drive, but they were able to run the ball a little bit. I think that was also us just trying to find something to nitpick about this Oregon Ducks team in the first few weeks. Yeah. But when you go up against a team like that, a team that is perennially getting some of the best recruits in the country on the offensive line, in that running back room, just those two running backs of Allen and Singleton, that's one of the best, if not the best, 1-2 combo backfield in the country. You kept him in check. You kept him in check. Drew Aller, sure, he got some runs towards the end of the game, but for 85% of that game, your defensive line was dominant. And
Yeah,
it was my favorite part of watching this game.
It was fun to see. You look at the stat line, all these guys on the defensive side, from Bear Alexander on the line, Amari Washington, all the way down, Blake Purchase. I mean, you see most of these guys, 3 guys with 5 tackles, 3 guys with 4 tackles. There's just so many that have the exact same stats, which tells me that everybody on this defense was flying around. And we talked about it with Anthony, relentless pursuit, at least on Penn State's end. But man, Oregon, led of course by Bryce Betcher. I think they only had 2 sacks tonight, but that was really all they needed because, man, yeah, Tuioti got to Drew Aller one time, but not only was the defensive line just chomping at the bit and everybody getting some work done in there, but it just seemed like they were able to screw the offensive line up for Penn State. They were able to get Drew Aller on his back foot. Some of those passes, I feel like, were just lucky. Like Drew Aller kind of throwing out that front foot. It was like he was a hair away from just looking god-ass awful in this game. And credit to the defensive line for that, overpowering Penn State's line. It's not only Drew Aller not being good at the tempo quarterback game, it's that I think Oregon forced them into not really giving Drew Aller much time. So credit to them, absolutely.
Well, I'll say this, Drew Aller, I try not to take anything away. He got extremely lucky tonight with some of his plays and some of his passes.
Absolutely.
5:56 p.m. I tweeted this one out. So we're basically just before halftime. We're in the second quarter. I tweeted this out. Aller is going to make a costly mistake. Mark my words.
Boom.
And it took up until the last play. But it was
You were right.
He was just playing with fire the whole game, it felt like. I mean, there was one moment, too, where it looked like he was damn near about to pass out on the field.
I know.
And then there was, for some reason, a stoppage in play and a reset of the clock that let him get his breath back. But, I mean, I will credit him that he grinded, and he is not the best quarterback in this conference. I mean, we've seen it now plenty of times. He is a pretty mid-tier quarterback, but I will give props that he grinded this game out and almost led them back to a victory. But on the flip side of that, the defensive line doing an amazing job. I want to flip over to the offensive line. And actually, before I do that, someone did text in, how about Bear Alexander? If he steps up, look out. Dude, he had a great game. He had one drive where he was making plays himself, stopping the run. That defensive line, that front seven, it was just an amazing performance by them. But on the flip side, offensive line, Dante Moore, his jersey was pretty dirty at the end of it. So you would have assumed, like, look at all those grass stains. He must have gotten hit a lot, right? How many sacks did he take?
0.
0 sacks yet again for this Ducks offensive line unit. They were able to establish a run game.
So good at getting rid of the ball.
He's good at getting rid of the ball. He's good at just also knowing when he needs to get the hell out of there and scramble too. Like he did that today a few times and came up short on a couple plays, but I just think that he is showing his poise at being able to make the right decision. But when you have an offensive line like we do that is keeping him clean, keeping him upright, and keeping him safe, I mean, that's I know we got to give the mountaintop player of the game to someone, but if I could give it to unit or units, it's the guys in the trenches. They earned every bit of this win tonight, and it was a team win for sure.
Yeah, the tempo from Dante Moore. I've said this all season. He just knows when he has extra time, he will take it. And when he doesn't, he knows exactly, he's got about half a second or so, exactly when to get rid of the ball. And he does it just in time. He was running away from some, I would say on, credit Penn State's defensive line. They got in the backfield. They were stunting a little bit. And I don't know if they were just switching from like man to zone right as Dante Moore was hiking the ball, maybe confusing Dante a little bit. Of course, it's what Jim Knowles is trying to do. And he has a lot of experience beating up on Oregon's on Oregon's offense as the defensive coordinator for Ohio State in the college football playoff game last year. But Dante honestly showed that Heisman poise today, and whether or not he needed to step out and run, 10 runs. I'm not sure I want to see Dante Moore running that much during every game this season, but that's kind of where I go, Joe, into the bye for Oregon. I feel like that this team had a little bit more of an advantage over Penn State because they knew that they would get this rest this week, right? Dante Moore, he knew he could play hard because he's going to get a week off, as opposed to Penn State getting really excited, not sitting around, but ramping their asses up in practice, basically, for this huge contest that they've been talking about for the last 6 months. Oregon now gets to rest on the other end of that. They get to lick their wounds winning and walking away smiling. I feel like they actually have the advantage here. And going forward, I kind of wonder if teams are going to want a bye after a big game like this instead of before. It just feels like Oregon had the upper hand. Both teams were fighting on the defensive end. It was just a close game until the fourth quarter where Penn State started to break away. But then the discipline for Oregon came in, Joe. And ultimately, that's why they won. And I just feel like that discipline, obviously it's how Dan Lanning built the program, but I think it's because they knew they had this bye to look forward to. So, man, Dante running 10 times, Will Stein confidently running Dante 10 times. I feel like that is part of why Oregon played the way that they did today.
We'll take a quick break, come right back, read some more thoughts on the text line and on our YouTube chat. You can watch on youtube.com/1051 The Fan. The YouTube chat is popping off tonight, that's for sure. And our text line 503-864-6326. That is 503-864-6326. We return back to the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show here in a second, but first, Schultze with a weather update.
Appreciate you, Joe. 67 in downtown Portland. The Ducks post-game forecast calls for a low of 54 tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 75.
Dusty here for Mountaintop Metal Roofing. When you find your home,
Now still looking, we'll throw it back across the field. Catch made, first down to Sadiq. All the way across the 45, or make that the 48-9-yard line before he finally goes down. What a play by Dante Moore.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the post-game scoreboard show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show. Joe Fisher here, Jordan Schultz, reading some texts and thoughts here on our text line on the YouTube chat. Someone saying that, my dad said Drew Aller was due for one interception today. Yeah, it came at the last play. But again, man, just watching how he was playing, he just had a lot of throws, a lot of plays where you're like, dude, he almost got sacked right there. Oh, my gosh, he just was scrambling, running for his life. Yeah. And that one play early in the first half where he slips and falls almost and then has to just throw it up, and it's a completion. It was just like He can't keep getting away with this for a full game. And granted, he did get away with it for 4 quarters. It just came in overtime, the costly interception that sealed the game that went into Dylan Thieneman's hands.
Just looked confused.
I
Not
mean,
scared, but confused.
I thought, again, not only was he going to just pass out from being exhausted, there were times it was showing him calling a play in a huddle, and I'm like, dude, this guy's heart is about to beat out of his chest. It looks like he is about to just have a cardiac arrest right in the middle of the Penn State huddle. Like, all right, twins right, X slot.
Is he like Anthony Richardson? He's got to ask out after a third down. Like, yo, coach, I'm tired, man.
Again, it was up until when they basically stopped play because they thought there was a timeout, but there wasn't. So they just, like, right up until that moment, I was like, Drew Aller looks like he is about to die on that field. Like, if he needed that break, it was pretty ridiculous. I don't know why they stopped the game anyways, but he just, he was losing his damn mind out there.
You're right.
Dante is the truth, someone says on the YouTube chat. I want to, before I get into Dante, I don't know what they're doing in the Oregon quarterback room, because you want to talk about Drew Aller's beats per minute being 160. It seems like the quarterbacks for the Ducks, the last 4 of them, any environment, any game they're in, their heart rate's at 60 beats per minute. They always look cool, calm, collected, whether it was Dante, Dylan, Bo, Justin. I mean, Marcus, obviously, it's about as cool as they can get right there, but I don't know what they're teaching. I don't know what affirmations or meditation music they're listening to during practice. I mean, again, the way that Dante just kept his cool in this environment, but just the Oregon Ducks quarterbacks the last few years, again, I don't know what they're teaching them, but it seems like they just never are rattled. It's wild.
Ducks,
it's wild to me.
Ducks, of course, did come out of the Pac-12. So, at one point, the Pac-12 was known for producing NFL quarterback caliber talent. And not only that, but, Dan Lanning establishing himself. We've talked about the success that he had with Kenny Dillingham in one season. Now Will Stein there. And heck, I don't know how much longer he's going to be there. But I think that not only is the level of trust there with such good coaches, but frankly, they're getting guys now in the quarterback room, probably since Justin Herbert, who are more talented than have ever been in that quarterback room before. And you compare Oregon's QB room to the rest of the country. Yeah, there's other, of course, there's Nussmeier for LSU, Arch Manning if he steps back up. You got Lenore Sellers for South Carolina. There's great names everywhere, but there's not really many teams that have possible 2 or 3 guys deep like Oregon does in Austin Novosad and Luke Moga. I'm not saying that they could start everywhere around college football, but they could start some places. So, yeah, establishing some pedigree in the quarterback room there.
Just a couple more texts here. At the end of the day, it's the Jims and the Joes, not the decibels. Ducks were just better. Honestly, couldn't agree with you more. I don't think this was, Ducks got lucky or anybody could. Ducks were the better team today. I think this was an instance of the better team won. Penn State, they had a good 4th quarter. And the Ducks, though, they showed from the first quarter to the beginning of that 4th quarter, they were the better team. Yeah. And then when it came to overtime, when it was like, all right, all bets are off here. We're starting over 0-0. Who wins? These last few possessions, the Ducks came out on top, but they made more plays. Full stop.
Yep, there's a national radio host out there that says there's analytics and there's manalytics, and the Ducks definitely won. I won't say his name, but
I was going to say, well, luckily that guy's not on the station anymore.
But the Ducks won the manalytics game today for sure.
And also just appreciate the love from Ducks fans that are listening in other states. We got a SCO Ducks. We're representing from South Lake Tahoe, and then we got someone on the YouTube chat that's Go Ducks from Peoria, Arizona. So shout out to all the Ducks all across the country, all across the world. Do we have any Ducks fans that are international right now that are watching or listening?
I actually saw last week there was like
Wunderbar Ducks.
There was a Duck in
live from Germany.
No, there was a Duck fan in France that was watching the game. So he tweeted about it on social media. I was like, that's great.
It's the Fan Global Sports Network. It's the Oregon Ducks global post-game scoreboard show. All right. Keep sharing your love for this game, for the Ducks, the win on our chat and on our text line. Again, that is 503-864-6326, 503-864-6FAN. We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to come back with our Mountaintop Metal Roofing player of the game. We do that next, but first, Jordan Schultz with a weather update.
Thank you, Joe. 67 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calls for a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a high of 75. 67 in 2 weeks when Oregon hosts Indiana.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With
1051, 1080, and the Odyssey app. Time now for the Mountaintop Metal Roofing Player of the Game.
And going to throw. Step up away from the rush. Throws it. Got him wide open at the 10, 2-yard line. Touchdown, Gary Bryant Jr. on the first offensive play. And how about Dante Moore escaping the rush?
Do it once. Do it right. Mountaintop Metal Roofing.
It's time for the Mountaintop Metal Roofing Player of the Game, and you heard the clip there. It's Dante Moore. He stepped up and made some huge plays, especially in the second half. His stat line tonight, 29 of 39, 248 yards, and 3 touchdowns for Dante Moore. Also on the ground for him, 10 carries for 35. Someone chimed in on the text line, Dante, as cool as they come, loved how his jersey was just trashed with grass. Yeah, you don't see the grass. I think Jorge even said you don't see the grass stains a lot anymore these days because of how much turf there is. But you can see that Dante just worked his ass off all night long. A couple plays I wanted to just highlight from his performance that especially in the second half, where it just showed his prowess, his quarterback ability. There was one completion on third down to Sadiq when he had to scramble out of the pocket to the right, and he kept his eyes downfield. He made a square throw. It was kind of a crossbody-ish throw, but it was right on it, and it turned into a huge gain, 20-something yards. That was on the drive that ended up leading to the touchdown, the Dier Hill touchdown, and their first touchdown of the game. There was another play. I think this was maybe it was in the fourth quarter when they got their second touchdown. But same thing, Dante Moore. He had escaped the pocket to his right, and he just floated up this ball perfectly to Decorian Moore. Yeah. And Decorian Moore made an even greater catch, just literally snagging that and just holding it as tight as possible with his fingertips and his hands to not drop that. Huge play that ended up setting up the rest of the drive. Gave it to Jordan Davison, who then ran in for his 7th touchdown of the year. And then the biggest play of all, the overtime touchdown, where he does a little play action, starts to boot right, and one of the best edge rusher defensive players in the college football realm is right there in your face, ready to bear down and make a play, and he just sidesteps him. Denied Dennis Sutton goes sliding by, and then he hits Gary Bryant Jr. for the touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. Again, man, there's multiple times where they're showing his face, walk up to the line to take the snap, and he's cool as a cucumber, man.
Locked in.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. He looks not only poised, as we've been talking about here on the Ducks postgame scoreboard show, but he also has the ability to make that big throw. And that's, we've seen Bo Nix, now that he's in the NFL, we saw that massive throw during the preseason this year, whenever it was during summer training camp for the Broncos. But that's something that Oregon fans were missing the last few years since Justin Herbert. That big throw down the field. Dante Moore has that ability, that 25-yard pass to Gary Bryant Jr. in overtime. Yeah, that's something that Bo Nix could have done, but man, the authority with how Dante Moore just knows how much time he's got in the pocket, knows how much time he has when he steps out. You were talking about one of the best pass rushers in the country getting on his ass at that point, Joe. I just don't think that they've had this level of quarterback play for a while at Oregon. And I keep tooting Dante Moore's horn. I keep saying, man, I think he's a possible Heisman Trophy candidate. And really, you look at the numbers, it's not just me saying it now. He, with the Heisman Trophy odds entering this week, obviously they've been tossed around a little bit because of the John Mateer injury for Oklahoma, but he is second right now, only to Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana, at least coming into today's game. Mendoza at plus 650 odds. Dante Moore tied with wide receiver Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State at plus 1,000 odds over the likes of Carson Beck from Miami and over the likes of Gunnar Stockton from Georgia. Dante Moore has those tangibles, and frankly, I think has the objective pot and the objective talent that everybody sees to succeed. We just haven't seen him go off for 450, 500 yards yet, but the ability is there.
And if you look at some books, they have updated their Heisman odds. This is FanDuel. The leader in the Heisman odds race right now It is Dante Moore of Oregon, 15-2 odds, just slightly above Carson Beck and Jeremiah Smith and Ty Simpson of Alabama after they got a big win tonight against Georgia. But right now, Dante Moore, according to at least FanDuel, we'll see what the other books look like throughout the rest of the week.
But CBS a couple days ago, so probably a little old.
But as of 40-something minutes ago, and at Roto World also tweeted out, that's their the NBC Sports affiliate, DK Sportsbook. Also, DraftKings has him at plus 750 Heisman odds after the win versus Penn State.
Let's go.
And now has the shortest odds to take home the Heisman. That is your Mountaintop Metal Roofing player of the game, Dante Moore, as he leads this Ducks team to victory. Just like the 4 games before, there's multiple guys you could probably give this to, units that you could give it to. Again, I was just blown away with how this Oregon defensive front looked today. But Dante Moore, you get torn down if you lose the game, but you get all the praise if you win it, and you deserve the praise tonight, my man. Dante Moore, winner.
I almost gave it to Deer Hill. I mean, I could have given it to Kenyon Sadiq for the couple of catches that he had. Like, there's just so DeCorian Moore had the most catches and the most yards for Oregon at 7 catches, 89 yards, no tutties, but I think he was identified as the top option for Dante Moore tonight. So many guys, Joe. It's just, man, we've had a lot of talent in Oregon, but I feel like this is a problem we've never had before. It's stepped up. There is an elite level of talent now. There's just a different feeling, I feel like, in Eugene right now.
We'll take a break, get some more of your thoughts, text, chiming in on the chat here, and we'll just break down this thing even more. I mean, there is a lot left to get to for Oregon, for Penn State, and what the rest of this season looks like in the slate ahead. So we do that next year on the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show. But first, Jordan Schultz with a weather update.
Thank you, Joe. 67 in Portland. The Ducks post-game forecast calls for a low of 54 tomorrow. Some clouds, a high of 75. It'll be 67 when Oregon hosts Indiana in 2 weeks.
Whether you're looking for urgent or primary care.
Allen will go under center from the 4. First and goal. Turn handed off. Allen goes right. Allen gets in for the touchdown. Penn State will score on their first opportunity in overtime.
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the post-game scoreboard show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Ducks win at Pennsylvania State, 30-24. They go into the whiteout. They go into Happy Valley. They go into State College, whatever the hell you want to call it. They go in there and they get the win. A huge win for this Oregon Ducks program. And going into a bye week, especially needed. You got a good Indiana team that's coming into town in a couple weeks. But there can't be a much happier person on this planet about this Oregon Ducks victory than head coach Dan Lanning, which we're going to play his interview in a second. But, man, if you saw his interview on the NBC broadcast right after the game, that dude was emotional. He was, as Jesse said, sweating. Someone had a great tweet where it was just like, I don't know what the human coaching form of cocaine looks like, but that's Dan Lanning, because he was just geeking after that win. He was, again, I can't imagine there's a happier person on this planet about this win than Dan Lanning.
Coach Lanning, double overtime thriller. Your defense comes up with a huge play at the end. What are your initial thoughts just on how that game played out and that finish?
That's probably one of the best games I've ever been a part of. It's no doubt one of the best games I've ever been a part of, maybe the best one. It's an unbelievable effort on both sides. Came down to the last second, somebody making a play. I don't even know who got the interception. Was it Dylan? Yeah. Unbelievable job by him. But it was back and forth, man. There were times where offense put the defense on their back. There were times the defense put the offense on their back. Unbelievable effort from our players. Really proud of them, really proud of the performance.
What did you learn about this team coming into a hostile environment and playing the way that they did?
They can handle it, right? They can handle it. We probably got to carry a couple more 4th and 1 calls, though. Right? We went through the Rolodex.
Dante Moore, he was calm, cool, and collected all game long. He handled the pressure well. What did you learn about your quarterback?
He was unbelievable, man. The guy was unbelievable. I'm super proud of him, man. He handled it. He's hurting. He took some hits, and he was never phased, man. He was never phased. It was impressive.
Up front, physicality on both sides of the line of scrimmage. What did you see from your offensive and defensive lines from a physical standpoint?
Yeah, we said we needed to outrush these guys. We did. They found some stuff there at the end of the game that we struggled to stop. But we just need one more snap. And if we have one more snap, we're going to get one more cut, we're going to get a win.
That fourth quarter, your defense was bending a little bit there. What did you tell those guys heading into that overtime?
All that matters is the next play. And our coaches made unbelievable adjustments on the sideline. We did something we hadn't ran all game to get the interception. It was really effective. It was a great job by our coaching staff.
Are we going to have to wait for Ducks versus them to find out why everybody ran to the one end of the field?
It had nothing to do with Ducks versus them. I don't know. We just wanted to celebrate our fans. To see our fans in that top right corner all the way in the nosebleeds. And they came out here to support us. So, I don't know, it was 110,000 or 100,000 versus maybe 10. We're like the Spartans today, man. We went out there and fought.
1-0 again this week, and now it's a bye week, or a work week, as you call it.
Yeah, it's going to be a bye week for a second. We got to get healthy, take advantage of a little bit of recovery, and then we'll get right to work.
That was Dusty Hara with head coach Dan Lanning. That was on the Learfield broadcast interviewing after the game. I liked a couple of the comments he had in there, just letting his guard down. He's like, that was one of the best football games I've ever been a part of. That guy's, he's been in some big games. He's coached some big games before. I don't know how big of games he played in when he was at, Southeastern Missouri State or wherever he played at college. But again,
FCUS champions or something like that.
Yeah. But, him saying that, and then even, again, Dusty was like, oh, it's not a bye week, it's a work week. He's like, nah, it's going to be a bye week for just a little bit.
I appreciate that honesty. You know what? I've told him this when I got to answer the phone when he called in for primetime one time. I was like, Coach, I just appreciate that Oregon has such a normal dude as a head coach. And yeah, just the little bit of honesty slipping in there from a guy that usually tries to be so buttoned up. It's really nice. And Joe, another thing I don't think we've really hit on is the fact that Oregon got this win on the road.
It's huge, man.
Yeah, I know we've talked about the crowd not necessarily being in it, and that was something that Oregon was able to do successfully, keeping that whiteout at bay. But, we talked about it. I know it was an early game, but 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, so now they've taken 2 road game trips in 3 weeks at Northwestern. Early game, new environment, might not be the easiest for this team to adjust, and we saw that a little bit in the Northwestern game. But man, today Oregon looked comfortable. It wasn't just Dante Moore. It wasn't just the offense. The whole team, Joe, looked like they wanted to be there and frankly looked like they knew they belonged there. And that question about the West Coast teams in the Big Ten, at least Oregon, traveling to face off against these elite blue blood colleges out of the Big Ten, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, whenever the hell they fired Jonathan Smith, and get good again, Michigan. I think Oregon has answered the bell, and we don't really have to lean on the question, are they going to do okay on the road? No, we know, yes, 5-hour flight or not, they can freaking handle it.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that they have played the toughest road schedule yet. You have to go in that candy ass stadium in Northwestern,
the cracker freaking box
at 9 a.m. And you're like, basically the whole team's like, we don't even want to be here. Can we just get this over with? You go from that, and then your next road game is the toughest, if not the toughest road environment in college football, a whiteout at Penn State. To be able to have those two experiences, like complete opposite ends of the spectrum as far as what an away game experience is.
Wonder what Rutgers is going to be like.
Hey, birthplace of college football, my man.
I know. I know. Rutgers actually was one of the first NCAA champions. If you must, it's like they were one of two schools in the league at the time.
That Rutgers team was stacked, though.
Oh yeah,
that team was stacked.
Elite.
Go watch highlights, man. Go to the library, find the archives. That Rutgers team was good.
Don't even think they had forward passes then, but sure.
There's old Curly with another first down.
Did you know teams still kicked the ball away after they were scored on? You give the ball back to the team that just scored. That was a strategy at that time in football. I know we're getting off topic.
Hey, that led to Rutgers championship, all right?
Let's go,
good
baby.
Strategy.
Football used to be weird, and now it's awesome.
Oh, God. All right, where do we go from here? I say we take a look at the college landscape as it stands because there were some upsets, there were some losses today. We're going to have a shakeup tomorrow when we see that AP poll, and so let's take a look at how the rest of the games fared for some of the top teams in the country, Big Ten opponents. We had a semi-big game up north in Seattle, which, boy, I want to get to that because there was something jarring from that game that I thought was, in comparison to Oregon, a big eye-opener about those two schools and fan bases. We also had a Big Ten game between USC and Illinois. We also had a couple LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Just big games all over. Huge slate of college football. So let's stop talking. Let's get to it here next after this Jordan Schultz weather update.
Thanks, Joe. 64 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calling for a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. High of 75.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not.
and the Odyssey app.
Welcome back into the Dick Hanna Dealers post-game scoreboard show after a wild Ducks victory. One that we will remember forever. This is definitely a landmark victory that, as a Ducks fans, it doesn't get better than this, man. This was a fun night. Obviously, it's always much more fun when the team ends with a win. But again, just I think as football fans, we got what we paid for. Definitely entertained tonight, that's for sure.
I think that marks 23 straight regular season wins under Dan Lanning. The last loss of his would be obviously against Washington, if I'm not making that up, a couple years ago. Yeah.
I think so.
Feels pretty damn good, Joe.
Yeah. Were there other teams across the nation that were pretty damn good today? Let's
my God.
find out. Well, first, the madness did start last night with Florida State.
Oh, I thought you were going to bring up the Beaver game.
Oh, no.
The madness started with.
Yeah. Sorry, Bees fans. That was brutal. You should have won that game. I feel for you. It's rough.
Yeah. What do you say?
But I wouldn't say that was the biggest embarrassment of the night. It was Florida State losing to Virginia.
No kidding.
46-38. And I just thought that was weird that Florida State, I know it was a pretty dominant win against Alabama, but they got propped up quickly. It was like, oh, win against Bama, 14th in the country. Oh, blowout Kent State or whoever the hell. Let's give you a number 7 ranking. Blow out this team. All right, we'll bring you back down to 8. But I was just, I was surprised. I'm like, damn, they're really giving them their props because the Alabama win. Well, maybe we got a little too ahead of our skis there because they fall to Virginia 46-38. I hope that Florida wide receiver is okay because, my God, that field storming was I can imagine that was frightening if you were in the middle of that. I saw one of the refs just kind of cover his head and just duck out of there and just, Bob, please, get me out of here.
I'm not a fan of field storming.
I get it. Listen, I get it. It's... Watching that one, it was very much just like, oh my God.
Like, what do you do when you get to the center? You just scream more?
Yes.
You're running towards the logo, and then you get there, and then, I don't know. But good for oh man. No, not good for Florida State. Well, what a game.
Florida State, they fall number 8 team in the country, so there is a top 10 loss right there. Obviously, Penn State, the number 3 team in the country, they lose. There is a top 10 loss right there.
Bye-bye.
The team up north, up in Seattle, a lot of people thought that this would be maybe a close game, would be interesting. The people are feeling that Washington offense. It's funny. I could have sworn the game was in Seattle. When they showed the stadium, it looked like it was just all red, though.
A lot of travelers.
Dude, and this is what I kind of teased last segment. Last year when Ohio State came to Oregon, there was red in the crowd.
Yes,
right? It was still dominantly an Oregon crowd, right? There was still a lot of green, a lot of yellow in that crowd. The Ohio State fans, they showed up. They made their presence felt, right? Look at the images of that game of Washington and Ohio State. Red everywhere. Like it was 50-50.
I'll defend Husky fan a little bit, which I usually don't do but I have a very, very cousin-like relationship with Huskies fans in that I am a Seattle Mariners fan.
They had the audacity to roll out a banner that said, "Welcome to the greatest setting." For who? Oh, visiting fans?
Did you see who was there to get it going, to ring the bell or whatever the hell they do at Husky Stadium?
Oh, I'm sure. I know. You're going to go to the defense of your boys that just won the division.
No, yeah, it was Cal Raleigh and Bryce Miller and a bunch of... No, hear me out, though. All I'm saying is there are people that are going to those games. The Dodgers are in town right now. Unfortunately, the Washington Huskies aren't the top show in Seattle at the moment.
So you think it was those bandwagon Ohio State LA Dodger fans, huh?
No, I think it was people seeing there were so many tickets for sale that live in Ohio, and they're like, well,
want to go check that out? Let's go to that game.
At Bill Gates' house. You can see it from there.
Washington fans, you should be absolutely disgusted and embarrassed with yourself with how many Ohio State fans you let into that building, how many fans sold their tickets and gave them to Ohio State fans. That was disgusting. And Ohio State ends up winning 24-6. Not a lot of offense, but then Ohio State just kind of, it was inevitable. They just kind of wore down on Washington, and they win 24-6. And that Washington offense that everybody was said, oh, watch out, very vaunted, be careful.
Hey, I think I said I'm looking at DeMond Williams this morning on Sports Saturday, and I was wrong.
Yeah, it was a rough showing for Washington as they lose 24-6. Other big games today. Number 4 LSU traveled to Ole Miss. Number 13 ranked Ole Miss, and Ole Miss. I mean, they're the lower seed, right? The lower number in the rankings. Number 13 versus 4. This is an upset. Ole Miss was a favorite going into this game. They were a 5.5-point favorite. Now, they didn't cover, but more importantly for them, they got the win. 24-19, Ole Miss beats LSU. And that LSU offense still looking putrid. Still looking like, what the hell is going on with this team? Lane Kiffin, though, he kept receipts from before the season. Yeah. He tweeted out a photo of what Brian Kelly had to say about keeping that Magnolia trophy in Baton Rouge. So he was paying attention. He even had something in the post game where he's like, yeah, I'm trying to find Will Weeks to see if the over hit. So the pettiness of Lane Kiffin, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Also in the SEC world, Alabama, everybody thought they were down and out after that week 1 loss to Florida State. I mean, they just got punched in the mouth. How are they going to respond? They win in Georgia tonight, 24-21. That means the number 3 team lost, the number 4 team lost, and the number 5 team lost. All teams ranked above Oregon. So you bet that Oregon is going to jump all 3 of those in the rankings. But Alabama, I mean, just 24-21. They didn't score in the second half. They got all their points in the first half. So the offense was clicking. Georgia made some adjustments, but the defense is what really kept it in check for that Alabama team. We also had number 9, Texas A&M. They beat Auburn 16-10. Not a great showing for Texas A&M out at Kyle Field. Maybe something to keep an eye on. But this was kind of a week where top 10, top 15, top 20 teams were struggling. Yep. Indiana went to Iowa, barely escaped out of there with a win, 20-15. And I think as Duck fans, I always want to see the best matchup possible. You will now see an undefeated Indiana team come into Autzen Stadium on October 11th because Indiana also has a bye week, if I believe that is correct. Yes, they will have a bye week.
They will be in the top 5 as well.
Yeah,
they're number 6 right now, right?
They're 11.
Oh, my bad. They're 11. Oh, yeah. So it was 11-6. No, they'll be in the top 10. I'm transferring.
They will get that top 10. Yeah. Because
maybe like 7 or 8.
Because I imagine just with LSU's performance today, man, there cannot be a lot of faith in that team and Brian Kelly that they're going to drop them down. Indiana should go above them. Probably should go above Georgia, but Georgia at least looked somewhat competent versus LSU today. And then also in the top 25, Iowa State, they win big against Arizona, 39-14. They were kind of looking like the cream of the crop of the Big 12 this year. Tennessee beats Mississippi State in overtime, 41-34. This was just a back and forth affair the entire time. Mississippi State, I mean, they're the Bulldogs, but they got some dog in them because they've been playing some really tough games this year. Almost upset Tennessee at home, but they fall short in overtime, 41-34. Also in the top 25, Georgia Tech, another ranked team that had to escape by the skin of their teeth. Jake Dickert, remember him? Remember where he went? He went to Wake Forest, and the Demon Deacons, they almost pull off the upset today, but they lose 30-29 to Georgia Tech in overtime in that one as well.
I don't like Jake Dickert. I don't like Jake Dickert.
Good.
He wouldn't have been the coach for Washington State if the crazy situation that happened with Nick Rolovich didn't happen. And then all of a sudden, he's now the coach of Wake Forest. No. Oh, no.
I'm just saying to hear Nick Rolovich's
I know.
name,
It's
that was
whoa.
like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Throwing that out.
That was a thing.
Exactly. Just a coordinator that got vaulted, and 1 or 2 good years does not make you a great head coaching candidate. I'm sorry, but he got lucky, so poo on him. I'm with you, Cougar fans. I'm with you.
Vanderbilt wins 55-35 over Utah State. Missouri plays UMass, wins 42-6. So there was at least one Penn State quarterback that got a W today, and that was it Bo Peribula for Mizzou? Gets the win, 42-6. Notre Dame beats Arkansas 56-13, and I think that was it in the top 25. Wait, what? Hold on, maybe there. Oh,
one more?
Oh, yeah, there is one here. Let me read this. Illinois 34, USC 32. That's interesting. Fun fact, Clay Helton in his first 45 games as USC head coach, 31-14. Lincoln Riley, his first
14?
30-15.
Fire his ass!
So USC, they're real proud of themselves a couple weeks ago when they went to Purdue and got a victory there. And Lincoln Riley got his first away win in the Big Ten. And then they immediately give it right back up. Horrible clock management down the end for USC. Gave the ball back to Illinois. with about minute 54 left, all 3 timeouts, and Illinois went right down the field. They win the game. So USC takes the loss, 34-31. Plenty of other games out there. You have the internet. You can look them up, but that's at least the top 25 action and how that went down today. All right, let's take a break. Let's read some final thoughts from the text line, get our final thoughts here. Intrigued to, something that I want to talk about, the running back room, what we saw from running backs today for the Ducks. And just, give our final thoughts on this game before we send it into a bye week that I think we all need after a game like that. We do that next year on the Dick Hanna Dealers Postgame Scoreboard show. But first, Jordan Schultz with a weather update.
Thanks, Joe. 64 in Portland. The Ducks postgame forecast calls for a low of 54. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 575.
Isaac Ropp, Langdon Farms has been
Corian Moore comes left. And back, and going to throw. Step up away from the rush. Throws it. Got him wide open at the 10. 2-yard line. Touchdown, Gary Bryant Jr. on the first offensive play. And how about Dante Moore escaping the rush?
Dick Hanna Dealerships presents the Postgame Scoreboard Show on the Fan Sports Network, 105.1, 1080, and the Odyssey app.
Wrapping up things here on the Dick Hanna Dealers Post-Game Scoreboard Show. Appreciate everybody who has tuned in, whether you're in the state of Oregon, whether you're in another state, or if you're tuning in and all the way in Pennsylvania. Hopefully you stay another day or two, hit up Hershey Park, maybe Gettysburg.
Yeah, Hershey Park's boring.
Whoa!
I've been to Hershey Park.
I've been to Hershey Park twice, my man.
Did you go when they had all the water park stuff? Because apparently
Maybe
they've added a water slide and a roller coaster outside.
I get nostalgic for Hershey Park, right?
It's like they got 4 things to do, and then
You
they're
can
like,
take
hey,
a picture with a life-size Reese's.
and spend $500 on Reese's and Hershey's products.
A life-size Rolo.
My God. Oh, yeah, they have Rolos, too.
Oh, dude, it's great. I'll get back to Hershey Park eventually. But let's get back to this game, just kind of some final thoughts. I mean, Dante Moore, he is now the Heisman favorite.
Stud.
De'Aaron Hill, feed him.
Stud.
I mean, I think that what this last couple weeks in this game especially has shown, obviously the pecking order in that running back room. I mean, one of the guys that came into the season that we thought was going to get a lot of work, Mekhi Hughes, no carries tonight. We saw that running back room tighten up a little bit more, but De'Aaron Hill had the most carries. I think, Jade Lamar, I love how tough he runs, but I think that some of that work probably has to go over to De'Aaron Hill a little bit. Noah Whittington, He had some moments tonight, but also he was very close. He was a replay away from fumbling a ball in the red zone. But I think what did really shine tonight in that room was De'Ara Hill. He was fantastic running the ball, showing that speed and that vision. He looked fantastic.
I heard a couple of national pundits this week looking at Oregon's previous box scores, and it was obvious that they did not watch the games because they're like, why does Oregon have so many players running the ball? And it's funny, they didn't even mention Mekhi Hughes transferred from Tulane, as you've said a couple of times, Joe, 1,000-plus yard rusher coming in to join this Oregon running back room, and he didn't even freaking play today. Yeah. I mean, that just speaks to how much talent is bursting at the seams, and thankfully they had Noah Whittington back to set the tone. And that's really all they needed from him because of the performances by Hill and Jaden Lamar. Just insane.
I talked about it earlier in the post-game show, and you can go back and watch this post-game show right now or when we finish up live, and also see that just lamented how great the offensive line was today and defensive line. Just the guys in the trenches, man, just they made such an impact that, Dante Moore was our mountaintop player of the game, but give it to the guys in the trenches tonight. They had to win this game. They had to Dan even said, I wanted to outrush Penn State. They did that. You wanted to stop that run game. You did that. And that defensive line, defense front, and offensive line, they were the big reason for that. So tip of the cap to them.
Absolutely. And I think it is worth mentioning that it's kind of a transition point for Oregon. Obviously, after the bye week, they go from facing a team that has really talented defensive backs, a really big front seven, and a crappy quarterback to a team that's got okay front seven, some decent weapons, and a really good quarterback in Indiana. So going to be interesting to see Oregon turn the page there.
Well, everybody, take a breath. Get one last drink, one last nightcap in, and celebrate this Ducks victory as
it's only 10:45. More nightcaps.
Oh, trust me. There's definitely thought of coming across my brain if I maybe take a stop somewhere and get myself a little nightcap. But Ducks get the win 30-24 against Penn State in Happy Valley on the road. Just a massive win for this program, and well-deserved bye week coming up for them. For all of you out there, for George Schultz, for myself, we'll definitely be relishing in this one the next couple weeks before Indiana comes to town.
Yep, I get a week off to go watch the Mariners in the ALDS, and then I will be right back to being a diehard Ducks fan.
For George Schultz, Anthony Newman, Andy Dirt Johnson, I guess from the pregame show.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, those sliders, they knocked him down, all right?
Making me hungry.
Yeah, and Dusty Hara, appreciate them, appreciate you all listening. And we will catch you in 2 weeks on the Dick Anna Dealers postgame scoreboard show after Indiana. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great rest of your night.
This has